Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of WHITT Sessions. What is WHITT Sessions? I'm so glad you asked. WHITT Sessions is a pop-up interview in a pop-up location with a surprise guest. I am so fortunate today to have two surprise guests who happen to actually be one, as they are a married, powerful law team. Please join me in welcoming Tolbert and Tolbert with Michael and Shalise Tolbert. Attorneys Tolbert, welcome to WHITT Sessions.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Now, the last time I was here and we had our conversation, it was around UNCF.
Yes.
And so I'm so glad this time to be back. This is a strictly Tolbert and Tolbert conversation. I have been reading about both of you. I know we work together on various projects for various entities, but I wanted to stop by in beautiful downtown Gary to catch up with you to talk about all these different designations and roles that you all are now playing, the accolades that you have received. And I know 2020 has been something else, but in between that, there have been a lot of rays of sunshine coming out of Tolbert and Tolbert. And so I'll open it up. I'll start with you. Ladies first. Shalise, tell us a little bit about what's been going on in 2020 with Tolbert and Tolbert.
The most significant thing that has occurred lately is that my partner, my husband, Michael Tolbert, has been recently installed as the president of the Indiana State Bar Association.
Yay! That's why I started with you, because I know you didn't want to do one of these.
Yeah. So that's pretty big. What was it? October 9th, I think, was the installation down in Indianapolis. And that right there has been something in the making that we've been very excited about. Of course, the way that it has come about has changed a little bit from what we thought, because normally there's a lot of travel and things involved, but God's plan has fallen into place. And so I'll let Michael talk a little bit more about his role, but that's one of the most exciting things that has been happening with us.
Well, Michael, before you talk about the role, I'm just going to put my Gary hat on. When you win, we all win. So when it was all on LinkedIn and all in the newspaper, I was like, we're president. We So we share in that role with you. Absolutely. What does this mean for the firm? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for Gary? Tell me all about it.
Well, I mean, it's just a blessing from God, and I couldn't have done it without God's grace and without my beautiful wife. She is my my heart, my inspiration, and she has just been magnificent throughout my career and helping me get to this point. But I think this is big for our region, for the Northwest Indiana region, because the presidents rotate. So each region has an opportunity to have a president designated in their region. So this is our time.
Okay.
And so this is the Northwest Indiana's time to have a president. So I'm just happy to be able to not only represent lawyers in Northwest Indiana, but lawyers across the entire state of Indiana. And the State Bar is just a wonderful organization that we have both been a part of for almost 20 plus years. And the organization just does so much for lawyers and enhancing their quality of life, lobbying efforts to make sure that lawyers can maintain a standard, they're living, and making sure that everything goes well. And especially during this time with the pandemic, every profession has been impacted, and the State Bar has been right there, lockstep and key, making sure that lawyers stay on top of their game. So I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Well, how do you get the role? Is it your colleagues vote? Are you nominated? What was the process that got you the role?
It's a nomination process, and it involves a lot of volunteer efforts and participation. So like I said, we have both been a part of the Bar Association for about close to 20 years. And, I started off as on the Board of Governors, which is basically the governance arm of the Bar Association. Then somebody had the idea to make me the treasurer.
Right idea. Okay.
And then the budget and finance chair, and then the wellness chair, and once you float through all, and then I was the chair of the House of Delegates. So once, you move around in all those different roles, then at some point somebody says, well, maybe you ought to be the president.
Yeah. I mean, you have all the background and everything, so you can tell everybody, I've done that, you're doing it wrong.
So.
No.
Right.
Now, that is an amazing accomplishment. And again, we are so proud, so Gary proud. But that's not the only thing that's going on. I've been reading about you too, ma'am. And I understand that once again, you've received another designation, and you have to correct me on this. It's like the top 40, number one lawyer in the world. What is it?
That's about right.
Yeah.
For her.
I think you may be referring to the National 100 top lawyers, the National 100 top Black lawyers. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's an exciting designation that came out of nowhere from a couple of years ago. I didn't have any idea. I still don't know who nominated me for that a couple of years ago.
Might have been me.
I suspect it was my partner. I don't know.
Okay.
But he is now a part of that, and it's very interesting because it is a number on it, 100, and it stays that way until somebody passes away, I guess, or retires out. I don't know, but we thank God for those designations. So now we are both a part of that elite group, and it is very humbling because you get calls from people from everywhere, and you don't realize how much people are reading about.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
out there about.
Yes, and I was going to ask you both. As a result of your various accomplishments, how do people react, and does this result in new clientele? Does this result in fans waiting outside the office for autographs? How does that? What's the reaction?
It's so funny you say that about fans wait outside. I've always been a low-key person, and somebody will always speak somewhere, and I'm like, do I know that person? But then I have to realize, we're advertising, our faces are,
on billboards.
Yeah. So, when people are looking, and I'm like, sometimes I revert back to my former self. Put my guard up. Do I know you? But then, but no, it has definitely worked out as a great marketing tool, allowing us to be recognized outside of, not only outside of Gary and outside of the state of Indiana, but, we're getting calls from people that are seeing this information because they're national organizations. So, we appreciate it, and, we thank God for it.
Yes. So you say outside of Gary, outside of Northwest Indiana. Mike, why Gary? Why stay? You're from here, I get it, but with your accolades, with your experience, with all that you've done and all whom you've represented, you could be anywhere. And I know why, but I need them to know why.
Well, I always say, why not Gary?
Right.
And Gary's just a beautiful place, and we would not be where we are if it wasn't for what we learned in the city of Gary, and the contacts and the wonderful friendships that we've developed with folks over the years. And this is our home, and one of the things that we really want to do is to let people know that, particularly kids, to let kids know that, hey, if you want to become a lawyer, you can become a lawyer. If you want to be the president of the United States, you can be the president of the United States. But to really showcase what can come out of Gary, and that was really the impetus behind our billboards. They were not for advertising. If you notice, y'all
gotta see those billboards. Okay,
that's all right. But if you notice, our billboards don't have any advertising on them. They don't have what we do. The only thing that's on there is the firm name, and straight out of Gary, the tag, because we wanted kids, and we wanted, even adults, we wanted them to see those billboards and feel proud that, hey, we have a quality law firm, we have quality folks that came right out of this place, straight out of Gary, and they came back. Yes. Because that's always the knock on people from Gary. They always say, you go to Gary, you grow up in Gary, you get your education, and then you leave, and then you take all your resources out of Gary. And that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure we opened up a business right here in the home. I can drive 10 minutes away from where I grew up, and I tell you, I pinch myself every day when I wake up to be able to practice law with my wife, my best friend, and to do it in a place where I grew up. It's a beautiful thing. It is beautiful.
And that's why I couldn't wait to come talk to you all. I'm like, can we just tell the people, the inboxes we get sometimes, the Facebook comments we get, well, why aren't you living in DC? Why didn't you stay there? And why aren't you moving? Because you can grow your company somewhere else. And so I needed to have this conversation with the two of you. See, I have my counsel with me now to validate how important it is for us to pour back into the community, school systems, and everything that poured into us. How important is it for you to be home based?
Well, it's very important because, when I first thought about even going to law school, I knew that I wanted to practice where I grew up.
Okay.
And when we were even, discussing as teenagers what we wanted to do in life, we were like, well, we got to be back here. This is where we were from. And, when you mention places like DC, or even people ask us why we're not in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And, we grew up right on the border with Chicago and everything, but why not create those things in Gary?
That's right.
If we don't do it, who will?
Yes. And so I'm here more so to also talk about the impact that your firm has, not just in Gary, but Northwest Indiana. From your purview in the field of law, how do you see the landscape of Gary's growth and your impact on it? Do you see yourselves playing a role? I kind of feel like the city's got this churn going. Well, I'm seeing demolition, I'm seeing growth. The referendum got passed, that's good for the schools. So I know you all are kind of like chomping at the bit, like, what does this mean for Tolbert and Tolbert?
Well, I would hope that it's positive. That we've always come into this knowing that there will be growth.
Okay.
Not only just for us, but in the city, which is, again, taking us back to why we are here. And we want to help the city grow. So, all these positive things that are happening, we are happy to move right along with them, to support them. And, whatever God blesses us with, we go right along with his plan.
Amen. Michael, you and I had a conversation the other day off camera, and we talk about that stigma, if you will, sometimes when it comes to getting services from Black-owned businesses and firms. And you all have established yourselves, obviously, as a professional law firm that gives amazing, top-notch service. But can you speak to the challenges that still exist and the stigmas around, well, if I'm in trouble or if I need representation, maybe I need to go on the outskirts to get my representation to ensure that I win in the courtroom?
Well, yeah, I think there's always negative imagery that exists, particularly from, television, even sometimes from our own family, we've been conditioned, particularly in this area, that if you need to get quality anything, then you have to go south, or you have to go to people that don't look like us. And as a result, sometimes I think as African Americans, when you think of legal services, if you feel that you need an African American lawyer, the first thing you think of is, well, if I get a traffic ticket, or if I get into trouble, if I get locked up or something, they automatically think minority or Black lawyers do criminal work. Well, we don't do any criminal work. We are a business litigation firm. We do high-end matters, high-end cases, and we don't do anything that has anything to do with criminal law. But I still think there's a stigma that, hey, if you want anything complicated legally, you have to take it out.
That's right.
Or if I have a personal injury case where I need a family member that needs to be treated with care, then that person has to go to someone else that doesn't look like us. And one of the things that we've been trying to do is to change that perception, and to let particularly people from this community know that you no longer have to do that. You have a law firm that is right here, in some instances within walking distance. I know we had a client that he was just so grateful that we were here because our office was literally within walking distance of his home.
Yes.
So those stories can be replicated. Whenever folks here in Gary need legal services, we're here to represent our community, and you no longer have to go out.
That's
you
right.
You get quality services right here in your own backyard.
And if you're wondering where we are, Shalice?
1085 Broadway, Suite B, right at the
it.
corner of 11th and Broadway.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell my viewers, I wasn't fully transparent, and I need to be fully transparent. I didn't just pop by. I mean, who just pops by a law firm and just like, hey, what are y'all doing? What are y'all selling in here? I'm here obviously because the Tolberts are my friends and colleagues, but in the matter of seconds, they're gonna be my clients. They are joining the CWIT family.
Yes.
It is my commitment to assist and elevate your brand even to the next level when we tell that narrative that amazing professional law services are available right here in our city. And I know the other service you provide is if it's an angle or an area of discipline that you don't provide, you all give great referrals. You say,
Sure do.
I know someone who does this, and a lot of times it's another brother or sister, so that we can help everybody stay working. And so as of today, November 5th, 2020, I'll let you all go first to make sure it's legit. That you will start to see more information about the Tolberts and really keeping you informed about what's going on in their law community, their accomplishments. They have a team with them that also is killing the legal game, and their story needs to be told. And so this has been a long time coming. As you all are signing, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When I was contemplating stepping out full time, I sat down and made a list of, if you're gonna step out full time, who are you going to reach out to? What types of brands would you like to support? And I wanna say, you all were probably number one or number two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and my husband was sitting there like, the Tolberts. And I was like, yeah, the Tolberts. And so, patience, God,
Amen.
all in the plan, and I am ready to do this. So starting tomorrow, everybody will be looking at you in the sauce. We're getting ready to do a photo shoot. And I just want to say, God bless you on everything you do on behalf of your clients, on behalf of the citizens of Gary, all of the nonprofit work, and now being state bar president. We expect nothing but more favor, blessings, and great things happening.
Thank you. God bless your business. And we want to say, for the record and to your viewers, we really appreciate all that you do for our community and just what you represent in terms of being a godly woman, in terms of being a business professional, and being straight out of Gary. So we love you, and we're always going to be here to support you. So God bless you and your business.
Thank you. Well, they are now with me. I am with the Tolberts. I'm Chelsea Whittington. Thank you so much for watching another episode of CWIT Sessions. Don't forget, the sauce drops tomorrow promptly at 9 a.m. Check your inbox, check Facebook, check Instagram, check LinkedIn, check Twitter, check somewhere, because it's going to be out there. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.